Leo, hello and welcome to your weekly reading for September 29th through to the 6th of October. Let's dive in with a Goddess Power Oracle card. So the sun is moving from 6 to 13 degrees this week, and the sun is in your third house. So there's a spotlight on your communication. Is it heartfelt? Have you been kind of side-eyeing people over text? It's going to come to the surface, and there's more called of you. You've got Bambii, beauty. The thing is, Leo, people can feel whenever you guys are being snarky, side-eye, arrogant. They can also feel when you are purely full of love in your intention, and that's when you note the difference in how people are responding to you, how they receive you. It won't go by most people. Most adepts are attracted to Leo, especially during Libra season, because you guys have a way with words, especially when they're heartfelt. So when they're not heartfelt, again, people will pick up on this. You'll be ignored. It's going to come back like pretty pivotally, because we are in a very, I would say, quantum, electric, plasma-filled time. This is where we're at. So most people who are surfing these in between the really high frequencies and then having to deal with the human, having to deal with the emotion, you guys are going to have to come into this beauty, into this reverence. Empowerment message. You are at your most lovely when you are being yourself. The Japanese goddess of beauty, Bambii 10, reminds you that knowing, accepting, and honoring yourself as a spiritual being in a physical body requires self-care. Now is the time to support yourself by surrounding yourself with beauty and choosing to see its power in every aspect of your life. If you can commit to doing that, you will be amazed at how much more beauty arises to greet you. Open your eyes to the wonder everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. Beauty waits to be discovered. Consider this before you turn away from a person, place, or thing. Beauty is everywhere. It's your time to find it, and the goddess Bambii 10 will help you. And for the alignment message, your ability to see beauty in your world is dimmed by a momentary lapse in self-worth. The goddess of beauty asks you whether you've been set back by a visit of perfectionism or others have withheld their support. So that would be where you guys are being a little snarky because you don't feel secure in yourself and everyone becomes your enemy. Rather than you seeing the truth of the matter of, okay, maybe I need some more time at, the lake, or I need some more time just doing nothing, reading a book, rather than being all deadlines, no breaks, right? So others might have caused you to feel small and insignificant. Whatever the circumstance, it appears that you have been hijacked by a sense of lack. Your alignment task is to restore your self-worth and regain your equilibrium by refusing to engage in these mind games designed to dim your light. Now is the time for a positive self-inventory. The goddess Bambii 10 is here to remind you that you are a bright, shiny, beautiful being of divine power and light. You are more than enough, and the world contains more than enough beauty for you. This is a good place to dust off and start again. If you guys are wondering what the noise is, my husband has a fascination with the garage when I'm recording, so he likes to open and close the door. Just, I don't know why he does, but he does. You gotta accept him for it. We have 6, and then we have a 7. We have the calling. You are beckoned. This feels very sacred. It feels like a beautiful turning point. If you're being called from this feeling of insignificance or triviality in who you are, just when you're authentic, now's the time that we're stepping away from that, and you're starting to expand who you are rather than feel like you have to contract and carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are beckoned. Answer the call. Don't ignore it. The opportunity may not come again. Listen and act. So this feels like, you might have been snubbed by someone, some person, place, or thing, and then someone else comes along and offers you something bigger. And now you have the scaries because someone criticized you in ways that were true. But you have to just understand that you are being called to rise above, to rebirth who you say you are and how you say who you are. The ways that you communicate yourself, the delivery of what you are into the world. The Cave of the Eggs is a place of fertility rituals and sacred mystery teachings at the site of La Sainte Baume mountain ridge. Mary and Salome trained the disciples in prophecy, moon mysteries, and the ecstatic dance, which led them to divine illumination in the dancers and those who watched them. Mary taught her female disciples how to make love to their soulmates in a conscious way, to purposefully draw down an exemplary soul from above in a blissful, rapturous union. The women went home and taught their husbands, which in time raised the frequency of their community as these new evolved souls incarnated into their realm. Mary Magdalene blows the shofar at dawn to call her followers. The horn is a symbol of heretical wisdom. The blast of the shofar shatters rock, such as the walls of Jericho that were destroyed to release the people of the land from the bondage of ignorance. In embracing the wisdom of the new paradigm of returning the bride to the bridegroom, that's so funny, I have the Song of Solomon just out on my desk right now. The divine feminine will return, healing and restoring the balance of the land and culture. You are called to assist in this great work of restoring balance to your community and tribe. You are called to inspire and teach the particular talents and knowledge you have acquired in Earth School. You are so much more than you think you are. You have so much wisdom to share from your experiences on your soul path. That feels good. So let's see what Sacred Symbols has to say. And I would say, okay, we're getting pivotal, because the sun over the south node might be where, you feel like there are parts of you that were really clear to fly, and they weren't actually being received well. People didn't like the ways that you communicated something. And honestly, you're not responsible for how people feel, but you are responsible for how you treat yourself during the process of, doing something that maybe you don't want to do, which is where all work, no breaks doesn't cut it, right? We know this. We've seen The Shining. We know what happens when you work too hard. Transformation. So there is a transformation to take place. 19. There isn't anything happening at 19 degrees. So we could just trust that, the moon will hit 19 degrees at some point. Day by day, we're going to do it to see the start of the day. I start my calendar, or my daily, at 5:50 a.m. Yeah, we got through swords. So you might have felt like someone betrayed you, but you have to pull those swords out of your own heart. You're the one who's responsible for how you feel. And when you have emotional stability, Leo, your fourth house being Scorpio with Venus there, that's where it is, you know who you are. You know what you want out of life, and you probably have been ignoring your feelings about a lot of things, maybe a specific subject around communication, I would guess, or the value that you put in your communication. Maybe you were kind of like over a chapter of your life, and that chapter of your life is very demanding, and it's something to where it's like there has to be a sense of virtue around it. There has to be this ability to wake people from their sleep, and you have to come out of some way that you were handling your communication or your talents or short distance travel. Something about it has to shift, because we are responsible again for how we feel. The Five of Wands, we're changing how we're thinking about things, because that Tower card is signifying the glyph of Aries, which has both Chiron moving on Monday to 21 degrees, and it probably moves on Sunday, but let's check. Yeah, it moves on Sunday, maybe days before, but regardless, Chiron is moving, and the North Node is an orb, in an 8-degree orb to Neptune. So we might have been ignoring how our spiritual calling is asking us to communicate with a new level of mastery. Yeah, King of Swords, being kind of able to look at your passions or your ego or the testosterone that makes you want to not necessarily just be you, but to be you at this like base level of like, this is who I am. Like, no one wants that, Leo, and you know this. It's just you have to clean up how you're managing your energy and what you do to restore yourself, to feel really good and feel valuable, and to feel emotionally swaddled. We have the rose thread. Inner call, soul-led, the mystic, living courageously. Yeah, courage. We need our Leos to have courage around this transformation. And I sense that you guys are, rose thread. You guys are going through a sacred passage. And the eclipse, Solar eclipse will be on the 2nd of October at 10 degrees Leo. And we have to honor part of us that, as you know, Leo ruled by the sun is being eclipsed. So this is in communication, in our talent, short distance travel, siblings, anything that was kind of like, you know, jerking your chain. And you're like, hey, I need to be myself fully, and I can't be myself, and I'm going to be snarky at you. And then snarkiness was coming back, and you're like, what? How are my constituents upset? And it's like, well, because you're handling the people who are closest to you in ways that are devolving your ability to communicate. But it's like some people have to come into that awareness with the cosmic 2x4. Some people can come into it through learning, expanding, growing as they evolve, and, you know, even give yourself grace around what's going on for you now and what you've been ignoring, because this is maybe the first lifetime that you were ever allowed to feel like it's okay to master yourself, to come into divine neutrality, to transform who you are in the world and how you communicate that. The rose thread. This is the card of the mystic, the one who's in touch with the depths of their inner world and their inner weavings of the world and beyond, way beyond. They're dedicated to listening to the mysterious voice whispering within. Yeah, that would be, I think, keyed up with this emotional backbone, you know, this getting to the root of the matter and coming out on the other side, willing to plunge from this tower of things you've been ignoring. With that solar eclipse, boom, peeking through. This card is a sign that you're being called to follow this initiatory path, the calling, and you are beckoned with transformation. Led by the thread deep within, you may find that you're in a place of great change and are being called to have faith and gather up the courage to take the next step. It's acknowledging the courage it takes to live a soul-led life and honoring you for always taking the leap. So their transmission is, even when things feel unclear, especially when they do, I trust that I'm always led from within. Yeah, and if we're in tune with our bodies, I just shared with Capricorn, practicing movement hygiene. Our body will tell us when something's off. You know, there's Human Garage, there's the Body Weight Warrior, who I've started combining their works together for my movement hygiene. And I feel that, you know, there's a level of intimacy with ourselves that is required in this day and age to bring in children to the world, Leo, or to bring in a significant other. If you don't have that cultivation, you're going to continue the tango with toxic partners who keep waking you up to what you're not looking at. All right, let's look at the angels. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, for Leo, 4 of air, time to rest or take a vacation. Yeah, all work, no breaks is going to really hasten more ailments, more illnesses, more miscommunications, blunders, misunderstandings, and we want out of that, Leo. We are eclipsing that part of ourselves that doesn't pay attention to how we're feeling with Mars in Cancer, and that's your 12th house. So the divine is speaking to you through your emotions that maybe you would want to ignore usually, but you can't ignore them anymore. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So I want to look at some of the Dali deck with the 3 of Swords. Okay, we'll start with the King of Swords. Try to understand what it is that you do not know about yourself and others, and what you cannot know. Make sure you understand your most important needs and expectations. In order to achieve this end, it's most helpful to have all of the mirrors of your mind well polished and to know your own North Star. So the 3 of Swords. The practical advice: do not give up. Risk being more honest and authentic. Let go of your prejudice, pretense, and reserve. Feel the great relief that will be yours when your heart is set free again. So the 3 to me is speaking to when we come together with people. So it's 3 is a crowd, right? But when we come together with people, there are going to be differing passions and perspectives. And you have to understand this King of Sword energy to really get clear on what your prejudices might have been, what you're assuming, and then fill this 4th cup with what you've been ignoring essentially about your emotions and what you're picking up from others, or what you are resisting to pick up from others and what they need. So the 5 of Wands is practical advice. Create space in your daily routine. This might include taking some time out or establishing your own room. New alternatives are waiting to be explored and tested in your personal relationships and in your career. Go for it. And of course, the Song of Solomon, I just printed it out. I have it. It's very inspiring. I require that you all read that. That wasn't even meant to come out. But for those of you who have watched me to this point, I require that you read it. Print it out, have it on deck, highlight parts that are interesting to you, and answer the call, answer the mystery. Leo, thank you so much for watching. For my subscribers, you all mean the world to me. Go on ahead and share one of my readings with someone who's looking for an empowering astrology message. And for those of you who all just tuned in to watch your sun rising or moon sign, go on ahead and watch maybe your 10th house reading. So for my Leo risings, that would be Gemini. Sorry, that would be Taurus. That would be a 10th house Taurus. But for those of you guys who are looking to study your chart, I advise either equal or Coke, because Coke is your specific assignment to focus on. The smallest houses is what needs the most attention in this life. That is an astrology hack for me. I don't know if anyone else is doing that, but that's what came up for me through studying the charts. Thank you all so much for this reading. And until next time, Leo, aloha.